Hello. Today, I'm going to explain fluids for Tier 10 in Factory Simulator. Now, it's a pretty simple process, but I was a little bit confused when I first started Tier 10, so maybe this would be able to help some of you. So, first off, we're going to be starting with the pipes. Now, there are 8 different types of pipes, and they're all pretty simple, just like the 6-way pipe, straight pipe, vertical pipe, T-pipe, the left pipe, up and then down, and also the X, which is pretty self-explanatory, just used to transfer fluids across your build. So the fluid silo is basically like a storage container except for fluids. It can hold an indefinite amount of fluid in this container. And for the fluid cell zone, it is basically a cell zone except for fluids. Next two items I'm going to be explaining is the fluid pump and the fluid overflow pump. So these are the two most complicated things in the Tier 10 fluids. So I'm going to be using an example using Vein Petroleum Extractor and the Aqueous Alto Extractor, which are the two only fluids in Tier 10. So I already have one example with the fluid pump, and I'm basically going to be showing the difference. So as you can see here, there's Aqueous Alto, and it's steadily decreasing the amounts as it gets away from the extractor, and it's about at the 200 liter mark. And the difference between this and the Vein Petroleum, which has the fluid extractor, is it's getting slowly decreasing from the base, but it only is in about 20 liters. So there's less stuck in the pipes because there's a pump that is basically pulling it forward. So if I change this and put a fluid pump here, it's going to be the same thing where it starts decreasing because the pump is pushing the Aqueous Alto into the silo tank. So it's basically necessary to have these in every single pipe because otherwise there's going to be buildup in the pipes and then your entire system is going to be slower. The fluid overflow pipe is basically the same thing, except it says it never drains its input below 80% capacity. And all the pipes, they hold a maximum of 1,000 liters. So if it can never hold below 80% capacity, it has to reach 800 liters of fluid before it will start pumping. But it does the same thing as this once it reaches 800 liters, as it pushes them forward into the silo tank. In this example, I'm going to be talking about is the various machines that actually use fluids. Now, there's two different types of machines, the fluids that use items and the fluids that don't use items. So the fluids that would use items is the pressure filter here, the fluid reactor, and the tumbler. So with the pressure filter, the fluid goes in here, and the item goes in here. And for these type of machines, the pressure filter, the item that is used in comes out as a dud, which is the used filter. As you can see, it's only made by pressure filters, and it's a pretty worthless item, only being 40 octodecillion and having no items that can be made out of it. So it's best to just sell this or hoard it if you want to. And the thing that's actually important is the liquid. So for the fluid reactor, the fluid goes in here and the item goes in here, and then out comes one fluid only. For the tumbler, this is mainly used to create alloys and the components. So the fluid goes in here and outputs here, and the item goes in here and the alloy comes out. So the next three machines are machines that only use a liquid and output either a liquid or an item. So this is the distillation tower, the multi-flow mixer, and the liquid caster. So the distillation tower, you put in one liquid and it outputs 3 liquids, and whenever you hover over the liquid, it shows which one it is, so you can correctly output the liquid using pipes. Now the multi-flow mixer is basically the opposite. You input 3 liquids, one on each side, and it outputs 1 liquid. So the liquid caster, you input the liquid here, and then it outputs the object. So just a quick example, this is the pressure filter where I'm getting from the Vein Petroleum Extractor, and it goes in here, and I'm using the mesofiber filter, which I'm immediately selling because it creates a useless product, and it turns into ever ready petroleum, which I'm then extracting into here to turn into the distillation tower, where it creates light fraction, medium fraction, and heavy fraction. And since I do not need the medium fraction right now, I'm just selling it. And then the heavy fraction and light fraction both go into a multi-flow mixer, which then create heavy fluid garment and light fluid garment, which then I transport across this into a tumbler, which then turns the Corydon ingot into refined through 2 tumblers. Here the heavy fluid garment and the light fluid garment. Now these are both very makeshift systems, so it's very messy, but it does get the job done, and it's just a little example of how to use it. And I'm also selling both the outputs of the liquids because I do not need them right now, and and it's honestly kind of useless amount of money. But it's just like I don't really need to keep it, so I just sell it off. But you can hoard it if that's the type of thing you want to do. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.